Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop? Like it's running a constant loop of worries, regrets, what-ifs, and doubts. And no matter how much you try to think your way out, you only end up more exhausted and confused? Let me ask you something even deeper. Have you ever wondered if the real cause of your anxiety, sadness, or stress isn't what's happening in your life, but what you're thinking about it? If that question hits something inside you, don't skip this part. This is where the real transformation begins. Because today, we're diving into a book that doesn't just talk about changing your mindset, it completely reframes how you understand your mind. The book is called Don't Believe Everything You Think, and it's written by Joseph Nguyen. And it's not just another self-help book telling you to think more positively or hustle harder. No, this one goes to the root. At the heart of it, Nguyen reveals something incredibly liberating. The real reason we suffer mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, is not because of the events in our lives, but because of what we believe about them. It's our thoughts. More specifically, it's our blind belief in those thoughts. Now think about that for a second. You're not suffering because someone said something rude to you. You're suffering because your mind won't stop replaying it. You're not drowning in stress because of one missed deadline. It's the voice in your head screaming, "You're failing again." That inner voice, that story, that's what this book is about. Joseph Nguyen strips it all down. He invites you to sit with one powerful truth. Your thoughts are not facts. They're not permanent. And they don't define who you are. In this video, we're going to walk through the key ideas of this book. And I promise, if you stay until the end, you'll see your life, your mind, and your emotions in a completely different light. Don't go anywhere. Because what comes next is the beginning of a life-altering shift in how you relate to your own mind. And hey, if this already feels like something you need, make sure to like this video so more people can find it, hit subscribe if you want more content like this, and check the link in the description to grab the book for yourself. You'll want to read it again and again. Alright, take a breath, get still, let's begin. One of the most powerful and surprising truths that Joseph Nguyen offers in this book is this. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Take a moment with that. We're taught from a young age to trust our minds, right? We're told to think it through, trust our gut, use our head. But what happens when the very thing we're trusting is the same thing keeping us stuck, anxious, and unhappy? Nguyen invites us to look at our thoughts not as truth, but as patterns. Some are helpful, many are not. Most are just habits your brain has picked up over time. Stories, loops, leftovers from old wounds or beliefs you didn't even choose for yourself. And here's where it gets deep. He explains that your suffering isn't caused by life itself. It's caused by the meaning you attach to life through your thoughts. Think about that. It's not the breakup that keeps hurting. It's the thought that I'm not good enough. It's not the job loss. It's the thought that I'm a failure. The event might happen once, but the thought replays 1,000 times a day. Nguyen says the mind creates a story, and then we live inside that story like it's reality. But what if we stopped? What if we could see thoughts for what they are, clouds passing through the sky of our awareness, and not grab onto each one like it's the whole sky? Don't skip this part. This is where the real transformation begins. Here's a simple example. Let's say your friend doesn't text you back. You think, they're mad at me, or I must have done something wrong. Now you're spiraling, anxious, overthinking, maybe even pulling back from that friend. But what if they just got busy? What if their phone died? The suffering didn't come from their silence. It came from the meaning your mind created about their silence. This is the core of the book, the deep realization that the quality of your life isn't determined by what's happening, but by how you're thinking about what's happening. And if you can change your relationship to your thoughts, not by fighting them, not by suppressing them, but simply by observing them, your entire experience can shift. Nguyen doesn't ask you to silence your thoughts. He asks you to become aware of them, to stop believing every single one just because it showed up. Because when you believe every thought that arises, you lose the space to choose your peace. And this isn't about toxic positivity either. He's not saying, just think happy thoughts. That's not the message. The message is, let the thought come, see it, feel it, but don't become it. You are not your thoughts. That simple awareness is your superpower. If you stop now, you'll miss the most powerful insight of the entire book. Nguyen gently reminds us, behind all the noise, all the thinking, all the overanalyzing, there's a deeper part of you that is calm, still, and peaceful. That part is always there. You've just forgotten how to access it because your mind has been so loud. Once you realize that thoughts are just thoughts, not commands, not facts, not your identity, you begin to loosen the grip. And when you stop gripping, life gets lighter. So next time a thought pops up, maybe, I'm not good enough, or this always happens to me, or what if things never change? Instead of reacting, take a breath and ask yourself, is this really true, or is this just a story? That one question can change everything. Let's talk about something that Joseph Nguyen beautifully unpacks in this book, the difference between pain and suffering. Now this is big, so don't skip this part because it's one of the most freeing realizations you'll come across. Nguyen says that pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's optional. And at first, that might sound strange, because we often think they're the same thing, but they're not. Pain is what happens. It's part of life. You lose someone, you get rejected, you fail at something you really tried for. It hurts, that's real, that's pain. It's immediate, it's raw, but it passes. Pain is part of the human experience. No one escapes it. Suffering though? Suffering is what happens when your mind won't let go of the pain. It's the endless thinking about why it happened, what it means, how unfair it is, or how you'll never recover. It's the story your mind builds on top of the pain, and that story can go on for days, weeks, even years. Think about it this way. The pain is the cut. The suffering is the constant picking at the wound, keeping it open, keeping it fresh. Nguyen explains that the real reason we get stuck isn't because of the painful event. It's because we become emotionally and mentally entangled with our thoughts about it. We resist it. We judge it. We ask, why me? Over and over, which only deepens the suffering. But what if instead, we simply allowed the pain to be there, without the mental noise, without resistance, without labels, without spiraling? It's not easy, but it's possible. And it starts by realizing that you are not your suffering. You are the space in which the suffering is happening. Here's a quick example. You lose a job, that's pain. You feel the fear, the uncertainty, the loss. That's real. But then your mind kicks in. You're a failure. You'll never recover. What will people think? You're falling behind. And now you're in suffering. Because those thoughts, unchecked, become your reality. Nguyen shows us that we don't need to fix every thought or change every feeling. We just need to see them clearly, without believing they define us. That's where healing begins. And here's the best part. Once you separate pain from suffering, you begin to feel lighter. You stop taking everything so personally. You realize that thoughts will come and go, and so will emotions. But your peace, your inner stillness, can remain. This is the moment where people often feel the shift. So if you've made it this far, keep going. Because what's coming next will show you how to actually step into that peace. Not someday. Not after you fix everything, but right now. Ready? Here's something we don't like to admit. Most of us are walking through life trying to control everything. We try to control how people see us. We try to control the future. We try to control outcomes, conversations, timing, even emotions. And it's exhausting. Now pause with me here, because this part is subtle but powerful. And if you stop now, you'll miss one of the most liberating truths in the book. Joseph Nguyen calls this out gently but clearly. The more we try to control life, the more out of control we actually feel. Why? Because life isn't designed to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. Think about it. How many moments of anxiety in your life came from trying to force a certain outcome? From overthinking what someone would say or do? From rehearsing conversations in your mind that never actually happened? That's the illusion of control at work. Nguyen says that most of our mental suffering is rooted in our resistance to uncertainty. We're terrified of not knowing. So we overanalyze, we try to plan 10 steps ahead, we worry about every possible what if. But life doesn't unfold based on our thoughts. It unfolds in its own way, in its own time. Here's the real shift. The more we let go of control, the tighter we hold on to presence. Let that sink in. When you stop gripping so tightly to how things should be, you finally allow them to be what they are. And from that place you can respond with clarity, not panic. Nguyen isn't suggesting you give up your responsibilities or stop caring. He's inviting you to release the need to manipulate every moment so it fits your mind's picture of perfection. Because that picture, it's usually built from fear, not wisdom. He shares a powerful idea. Peace doesn't come from controlling your external world. Peace comes from surrendering your internal resistance to what is. That person didn't act the way you expected? Let them. The plan didn't go the way you imagined? Let it unfold. The emotions you didn't want are showing up again? Let them move through you. This doesn't mean you're passive, it means you're free. Free from the prison of overthinking. Free from the exhausting need to micromanage life. And when you live from this place, from surrender rather than struggle, you begin to experience the quiet strength of trust. Trust in life. Trust in yourself. Trust in the moment. Don't skip this, because this is the beginning of real emotional freedom. You see, trying to control everything is a trauma response. It's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. But growth, peace and healing, they all live on the other side of letting go. So the next time you catch yourself clenching, fixing, forcing, pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now? And what would happen if I just allowed it to be? You might find that life isn't something to be controlled. It's something to be lived. Let's go deeper, because this part can quietly change how you see yourself for the rest of your life. Joseph Nguyen breaks down a hard truth in the most compassionate way. Most of the pain we carry comes from who we think we are. Sounds strange, right? But think about it. From the moment we're kids, we start forming an identity. And that identity is based on ideas we've picked up from parents, teachers, society, friends, even social media. You get told you're smart, or lazy, or emotional, or strong. And without realizing it, you start building a personality around those labels. Nguyen explains that this is the ego not in a bad way, not in a judgmental way, but as a structure, a mental image of who we believe we are. And the problem? We become attached to that image. We spend so much of our lives defending it, proving it, polishing it. We say things like, that's just how I am, or, I've always been like this. But what if that identity is just another thought? Pause for a second. What if you are not the anxious person, or the overthinker, or the one who always messes up? What if that's just an idea your mind has repeated so many times that it feels like truth? This is huge. Because if you're not those thoughts, then who are you? Nguyen says, you are the awareness behind them. You're not the voice in your head, you're the one hearing it. And once you stop identifying so tightly with that voice, you create space. Space to choose, to breathe, to live without the pressure of always being someone. Now stay with me here, because this is the kind of insight that can bring real clarity. The ego wants control. It wants to be right. It wants validation, recognition, superiority. And when things threaten the ego like rejection, criticism or failure, the mind freaks out. That's when the overthinking kicks in. That's when we feel small, or defensive, or ashamed. But here's the game changer. When you realize that the ego is not the real you, those moments lose their grip. You stop taking everything so personally. You stop tying your worth to success, or how people treat you. You don't have to protect an identity anymore, because there's nothing to defend. Let's make this super clear. You're not your past. You're not your mistakes. You're not your job, your relationship status, or your bank account. You're not even the roles you play: daughter, friend, parent, student, employee. You are the space in which all those experiences happen. That space, that's your true nature, peaceful, steady, and always available, no matter what's going on around you. If you've ever felt lost in who you're supposed to be, or tired from trying to find yourself, this might be the breakthrough moment for you. Let go of who you think you are, and watch who you truly are begin to rise. Let's talk about what we're all really chasing: peace. Not the kind that comes from a perfect day or a vacation. Not the temporary calm when everything goes your way. I'm talking about real, lasting, unshakable peace. The kind that stays with you, even when the world is chaotic. Joseph Nguyen makes something very clear: peace isn't found outside of you. It's not something you earn, or achieve, or find by fixing everything in your life. True peace comes from realizing that everything you need is already inside. Now, I know that can sound like a cliche, but listen closely, because this is where Nguyen's message cuts through all the noise. He explains that peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the absence of resistance to those problems. Let that land for a second. Peace is not when nothing bad ever happens. Peace is when things do happen, and you stop fighting them internally. You stop arguing with reality. You stop replaying the past or predicting disaster in the future. You start allowing what is not because you're giving up, but because you're waking up. Here's where most people get stuck. They think peace comes when they finally get control over life. But we already talked about that illusion, right? The truth is, control doesn't bring peace. Acceptance does. And no acceptance doesn't mean you like everything. It means you're no longer at war with it. That's powerful. Because it means you can be okay, even when things aren't okay. You can feel pain and not collapse. You can sit with discomfort and not run from it. That is real strength. Nguyen also reminds us that our natural state, when we're not caught in thought, is peaceful. Seriously. Think about those rare moments when your mind goes quiet, watching a sunset, holding someone's hand, laughing with no agenda. That stillness, that's not something you created. That's who you are underneath all the noise. But the ego, the mind, the thought patterns, they drown out that peace. So the work isn't to get peace. The work is to peel back the layers that are hiding it. He uses a beautiful analogy. Peace is like the sky. Thoughts, emotions and events, they're just the weather. Sometimes there are storms, sometimes clear skies. But the sky itself is never broken, never harmed. It just holds it all. You are the sky. You are the awareness behind every experience. When you really feel that, peace stops being something you chase and starts being something you return to. So if your mind is loud right now, if you've been searching and striving and still feel unsettled, maybe it's time to stop looking out there. Maybe it's time to come home to yourself. And trust me, this isn't a one-time thing. It's a practice, a remembering. You'll forget. You'll get pulled into old patterns. That's okay. But now, you'll know the way back. And hey, before we move on, if something in you is starting to relax, if you're feeling just a little more spacious, a little more grounded, that's not an accident. That's you reconnecting to what's real. What's coming next will help you carry this peace into everyday life, even when your circumstances don't change. So keep listening, because this next insight might just be the one that changes how you live. Now let's explore something simple but unbelievably powerful: presence. Being present. Living in the here and now. Joseph Nguyen teaches us that presence is the gateway to everything we want: peace, clarity, freedom. When you're truly present, you're not trapped in the past or worried about the future. You're alive in this moment, fully aware, fully open. Think about the last time you were genuinely present. Maybe it was a walk outside, a conversation with a friend, or just sitting quietly with your breath. In that moment, the noise of your mind faded, and you felt something deeper, calm, connected, alive. But presence isn't just about those rare moments of peace. It's a daily practice, a way of showing up even when life is messy, uncertain, or uncomfortable. Nguyen reminds us that the mind will always try to drag you away, pull you into old stories, fears, regrets. But you have a choice. You can gently bring yourself back, again and again, to this moment. This practice of presence helps you break free from the endless cycle of overthinking, from the trap of believing every thought you have. It lets you step back and watch your thoughts, emotions, and experiences without being controlled by them. And here's the beautiful truth: the more you practice presence, the easier it becomes. The peace you felt before begins to stretch and grow into your everyday life. Now, before we wrap this up, I want you to ask yourself, how much of your life are you really living right now? Are you caught up in what was or what might be? Or are you here, fully awake, embracing this very moment? Remember, you don't have to figure everything out at once. Just start small. Notice your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen deeply. These small acts of presence build the foundation for lasting change. If this message has touched you, if you feel even a flicker of curiosity or hope, I encourage you to take the next step. Like this video if it resonated with you. Subscribe to our channel for more insights that nourish your mind and soul. And most importantly, grab a copy of Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. The link is right there in the description. This book has the power to transform how you relate to your thoughts and yourself, and it's waiting to guide you on your journey. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for choosing to look deeper. Remember, your thoughts don't define you. Your true self is beyond all that noise, calm and whole. And that's where real freedom begins. Stay present, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.